Yeah, you know, go get your coffee, your green tea, popcorn, you know, potato chips, cookies, whatever you want. Your snack of choice. You're gonna be sitting here for about a couple of minutes, getting this opening cutscene up and ready. Just telling you what's going on with the game. Giving you a couple of the boss locations. But good luck to both of our runners here as they go and get started. Seems like we have a little bit of a timer desync here. But hello to everybody in chat. Welcome to SpeedGaming. Welcome to Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. This is definitely the most accessible out of any of the Final Fantasy 1 games / remakes of the game. It is on Steam, pretty easy to get to, and there are a couple things in here that make the game a lot easier to run as well. First one being auto battle, and we'll actually see if they have continuous auto battle on here. This is not making. So we've got them buying their thunders, buying everything. Let me. And they start talking to the king to go and grab what they need. Going to face their first boss here. Going to face Garland. Ooh, Preucheu getting that crazy horse. While ShaneZell gets the goblins here. Crazy horse gets you that instant level 2. Very, very good. A little bit more damage there, and sadly he does get the encounter before Garland. And ShaneZell did not, due to the fact he got the encounter in the swamp area. So, here we are in Garland. Should be a decent 2-round. He can kill the mages with a high roll from damage. And down goes Garland, and on both screens almost simultaneously, just a few seconds apart here. No, we're not. I'm trying to get the screens bigger on my side. If you give me 1 second. Can't tell that this is the first time. It's also a lot easier to have somebody else. And now we get to the bridge. This is going to be the last decently long cutscene for the entire game. Other than that, you're kind of in here for the rest of the game. And resting up on Cornelia just before starting off, we can see that ShaneZell is a little bit ahead of Preucheu still, but honestly, all of that does not matter until the final pit of chaos happens. There we go. It's fixed. We set it up. They went ahead and started a little bit early. So was still in preview mode until 11 o'clock. That makes sense. Nothing that I could really do on my end. But now we're getting kind of the full story after the prelude to the whole entire thing. And now we're off to the main game and to the races. And we're going to come up on the first major choice here in Preucheu. First major choice being whether or not you actually grab tempers in Preucheu. This is a decently big choice throughout the whole entire run. Due to the fact that grabbing it early allows you not to have to fly back, but it's a little bit tight on gold early on. As you can see, ShaneZell getting the double crazy horse and Preucheu getting the ogre. Ogres are very good encounters. 1 gold for 1 EXP. So that one ogre just provided him 196 XP and 196 gold. Looks like Lulu going down on ShaneZell's screen. That's going to be a small bit of a time loss there, going to heal up. And with how small that lead was, that's definitely going to kind of put them neck and neck. ShaneZell going straight to heal up there, and Preucheu buying the tempers. Going to be a little tighter at Gold and Elfheim, but not going to have to fly back to Preucheu. That's the trade-off here, and ShaneZell going straight to the pirates. So he may be buying the tempers after the pirate fight, or going on the airship and coming back to Preucheu to buy the tempers there. Pirate fight's pretty easy. You're just mainly going to attack the warrior and monk and do the couple of thunders. Should be a 3-round pirate here. And still has that ever so slight lead since Preucheu went to go buy the tempers, but we will see how that stacks up here. In the meantime, getting level 4 off the pirates, usually I think level 4 provides you with that couple of extra, an extra thundercast. So we have that, and Preucheu finishing it up now as well. ShaneZell going back to heal up. And both are have now attained the ships and are going to the inner sea part of Final Fantasy 1. ShaneZell actually picking up his tempers here, so both are not going to come back to Preucheu once they get their airship. So both are going to be a little tighter on gold and Elfheim, so we will see if they actually decide to go and grind up, or if they're just going to use the gold, and it's almost frame perfect in leaving of Preucheu and getting on the ship. As you can see on Preucheu, he has come into contact with one of the sharks. Sharks being a very dangerous encounter here. And ShaneZell getting those Buccaneers. Buccaneers are a very good encounter, especially the 5 count, providing you 600 gold. That's the most gold you can get in an encounter here. They also have a chance to drop a saber, providing that little bit of extra gold that you might need for a free equip to your warrior, just for a little bit of extra damage until you get to Earth Cave. The Sahagins here, not a very good encounter. We want to see more red Sahagins than green Sahagins, the Sahagin chiefs. And we have a tiny bit of a divergence here. ShaneZell coming to heal up in Cornelia, and Preucheu just going on straight to Elfheim. So the lead has exchanged hands here due to that fact. But ShaneZell being full HP and having those full Thundercasts may be able to take that back. So yeah, Preucheu right out of Elfheim here, battling some of the snakes, and you see the main issue with not healing up in Preucheu is when you have those spell counts and you only have 4 Thunders, you are going to run out, and you're going to have to attack. ShaneZell hoping for a couple of other encounters, and Preucheu buying that 1 Thundara there. Potentially 2 grind, or potentially coming back to buy the other Thundara. ShaneZell might just be doing his grinding now. 3 count Buccaneer, giving him, I think, 360 gold instead of that 600, but still a decent encounter nonetheless. Very high gold for each Buccaneer. It's 120 per. On Preucheu's screen, you have the 2 Sahagins of Big Eyes and Sharks. It's a little difficult of an encounter just because those Sharks can do a ton of damage. And we have ShaneZell picking up his Thundara, but as you can see, Thundara just kind of clears that entire encounter, as both are going to grind here. A ShaneZell grinding on the land versus Preucheu grinding in the sea. The sea can provide better gold encounters. So I wonder if he just needs ShaneZell just needs a little more gold, or if this is an entire choice on him. If he just needed like a tiny bit more, or he's just trying to enforce one more encounter. And now we are off. We got our Thundara, and we're off to buy items for ShaneZell. Selling all those items, picking up a few antidotes here, and as many potions as he can. We've got 10 potions and 3 antidotes. We're going to see if that helps here, but he is on his way, taking the lead. As well as Preucheu more or less doing the same thing, getting 4 antidotes here and 9 potions. So roughly the same gold count for both runners. ShaneZell running into those ogres, getting that little bit of extra gold that's going to help him out come later on in the game. And meanwhile, as you can see on Preucheu's screen, we can run into undead here. There is an argument to grab Fire here as well, as Fire does more damage to undead, and you can kind of save spell slots by using Fire. on those undead instead of Thundara, where Thundara might not kill. This hard time running away from wolves. So wolves are decently speedy, so it's a little harder to run from them. And ShaneZell entering Marsh Cave. Marsh Cave is definitely a heavy reset point here in any run, just because of the encounters here and the end encounter. The Hyso Demons. Hyso Demons can wreck anything they hit at this point in the game. If you're speedrunning, your party isn't necessarily prepared for the amount of damage that they can dish out. Just being able to knock out your black mages in one hit, monk in one hit sometimes, depending on damage rolls, and your warrior in two. Meanwhile, we're seeing the status of Marsh Cave, and that it likes to inflict a poison. ShaneZell down to 1 antidote. Hopefully that will get him through. If not, it's not a status you want to see a lot. And it just seems like the antidote, you know, the RNG gods are not liking. And yep, that's a reset. You only have 1 antidote. You're not enjoying that. Meanwhile, Gargoyle's on Preucheu, and Preucheu has now taken the lead again. You're gonna see the lead being swapped around so much in this race, and I'm grabbing that safety Phoenix down, just in case one of your party members goes down to Hyso Demons. You do have that revive there, and they're about neck and neck again. Quick save, running into Gargoyles. Gargoyles being a high damage encounter, something that you don't really like seeing, because that amount of damage they can inflict. And here we go. Seems like they all got out okay, and ShaneZell is back in the lead. Healing up for the Pythos, quick saving, because they can be evil. And as you see, that if you've played kind of the older games, the encounters are actually placed on tiles. That's not necessarily the idea here. They're now placed inside of the chest. And there's no more encounter tiles here. You kind of know where the encounters are going to be. So, ShaneZell taking out the Hyso Demons pretty well. And Preucheu right behind him. Hyso Demons, I am pretty sure, have 84 HP, so you want to have 84 on your Thundaras, but Thundaras can roll, and as you can see, will not always knock out the Hyso Demons here. You kind of want to take them out on 1 round. And if you were to get a Hyso encounter, you want to see that preemptive, and you do not want to see that. Ambush. A regular encounter is good if you can get a high roll in initiative for that turn. But if you don't, Hyso Demons can wreck your team. Preucheu now in the lead, ever so slightly, about just entering the second floor now. You can kind of see like how these runners are adapting to the run. One of the reasons that I do like this run is that it's a heavy adaptation run here, as you kind of have to adapt to every encounter. There's no more step counter here like there is in the original NES one. So you can take the exact same step pattern as somebody else, but get a different encounter. So, Preucheu on his way to go fight Astos. ShaneZell on the first floor of Marsh Cave, getting out. So Preucheu has a decent lead here in the early game. And he is taking that safety cottage before Astos, being able to get those Thundara casts back. Since he does have Temper, there are two different ways Astos can go here. You can either decide to use your Thundara cast on your mages in order to take them out, or proceed to temper up the warrior and monk in order for them to do more damage here. We'll see which one he decides to go with. Both do have their downsides, though. If you do decide to temper your warrior and monk, slow is the thing that is not fun. As you can see, going for the temper strats. Seeing that Pyra come out is never a good sign here. The haste, not terrible here, but you definitely need. And there's the other fire. That's a reset on Astos. Astos does not like playing nice here. 2 elemental cast usually spells a reset for the fight. As you can see, both of them decide to go for the temper, and Astos not being very fair to ShaneZell here. He's going for the buff monk strat, and it is immediately asleep, which is not good in the slightest, and that's something we do not like to see. The slow come out when you do this, or the dark, because now with dark you have a chance to miss, and with slow you actually hit less. On you, as you saw on ShaneZell's screen, with the warrior slowed, he's hitting for 1 damage, and we don't like to see that. That's Skull there. That is death. That's a 3% chance. But Preucheu getting through the Astos fight, both mages going down. The question here is, do you decide to take that? Both of your mages are down. I don't like seeing both mages go down. It's not the worst, as the monk was still alive, but if something was to go down, I'd rather have it be my warrior. Preucheu does decide to take that Astos fight. Not the worst thing in the world. The monk did get the EXP, and we do care about that EXP on the monk. And Astos here, still not being nice. Taking out both black mages on it, and goes down. The party goes down to another Fyra. This is... Astos is a reset point. Marsh Cave to Astos is 1 reset point, but now Preucheu, having actually beaten Astos, is now kind of in a lull of the game where we're going on a fetch quest here. Fetch quest being taking that, taking the crystal eye that we received from Astos, bringing it to Matoya's cave, and grabbing the Jolt Tonic there, coming back, and picking up a cool item. And this Astos is not being nice to ShaneZell at all here. Nobody wishes for this Astos. And there's the death. There's the death on the warrior, which is never, like, honestly, if he was going to target anybody with death, you want it to be that warrior. Get it on to get the experience on to the people that matter. As the warrior just kind of decides to pick him a rock later on, and retire from the hard life of being an adventurer. And ShaneZell finally defeating Astos here, and I'm sure to be happy out of seeing that fight. And you do see Preucheu taking out a decent lead here. However, Chaos is still a thing. Lich is still a thing. Tiamat 1 is still a thing. There are plenty of places where it can go awry. And I think we are seeing continuous auto battle here for Preucheu. One of the few additions that they did add in, other being diagonal movement. Continuous auto battle just allowing you to kind of speed up and not having to press a button. We do not see continuous auto battle on ShaneZell's side. There's both advantages and disadvantages. Not having it on does allow you to actually kind of see the encounter and decide what you're going to do there. If you have... Oh, never mind. Preucheu does not have it on. If you do have continuous auto battle on, it does keep kind of your information from the last round and just allows you to go... allows you to go through, but you do have kind of a few seconds to where you can take it off. I've done a couple of runs with it, and it is a learning curve. It'll save a little bit of time, but these runners kind of have showed that you necessarily don't need it. This cave here, picking up a couple of potions and an antidote from the chest in her room to help with a little of item grabbing, and potions and antidotes are still needed here a little bit, but not... Antidotes aren't needed for too much longer. There's not a lot more places. Preucheu getting some Buccaneers here. Antidotes aren't going to be useful for too much longer. They're still good to have, but you're not going to have to buy them in large quantities. So, oh, I think I saw that saber drop. The question becomes, do you equip that to the warrior right now, or do you just kind of go ahead and sell it for a little bit of extra cash? Still have the Peninsula of Power. I am not exactly sure on that. And EMP over here giving us the puns. So... we do get to see that Jolt tonic dropped off to in Elfheim. So we're in a little bit of a lull here. But not necessarily out of the woods yet. Because once we actually grab our items here, we have 4 items to grab in Elfheim and 5 items to grab in Cornelia, and as well as the nitro powder or TNT dynamite as in there as well, with everybody's telling pirate jokes in chat. There are no more Buccaneers on screen. And those items will actually help us for our next stint into Earth Cave. Preucheu coming to pick up these few items that connect for Nelia in order to start selling them. To give you about in total, after you sell these, about 8,000 to 9,000 gold. As you can see, they did pick up a cottage here. Cottage is a very interesting item as it does kind of fully heal you and your spell slots. However, it can also be sold for 1,000 gil, which is not an insignificant amount here. So we will see whether or not they want to keep the cottage or want to sell it in order to get a couple of extra items for the Earth Cave dives. coming up, because the item shop here is going to be a very big item shop. And does sell that cottage. Going to pick up 22 ethers here. 1 Phoenix down. And just a bunch of potions here. This... I'm looking at these runners' numbers, and I know that they're comfortable with it, but I'm not. I see this, I'm nervous. But no, this shop is actually a very important shop, as it's, like I said before, for both of your dives into Earth Cave, when you reach Melmond, there is not an item shop there. So if you do not buy your items, if you do not buy enough Phoenix Town, if you do not buy enough potions, you are on your way back to kind of buy more potions at Cornelia, and that does take quite a bit of time. There is no church in Melmond, so if you need to, you know, res a character in out of Phoenix Downs, you're back to Cornelia there. There's no item shop there, so you've got to buy your items on Cornelia. You want to make sure that you're comfortable with your item counts as you leave, because that's going to be your items. In order, I'm still reading these. I'm still reading these pirate puns, and it's. I love these bad puns. So, we see ShaneZell healing up his monk here. In order to make sure he's alive. So, we see that the canal is made, so now we are actually not trapped within the inner sea anymore. So we can actually go and explore the wider world here. Extremely important. And we see that you do pick up kind of all of these chests from the Duergar Cave. Obtain another cottage, obtain a couple of gil, and obtain a couple of items here in order to buy our next spell, wow. I'm jumping ahead here. Firaga. There we go. Not Thundaga. Firaga. Firaga being a very important spell for Earth Cave, as you're going to run into a lot, and I mean a lot of undead encounters. And as I stated before, undead are weak to fire spells. So you'll be seeing a lot of fire coming up here within the next couple of minutes. Still getting those ogre encounters. We still like the ogre encounters here. Like I said before, 1 gold for 1 EXP. Very good gold to EXP ratio. Preucheu on the ocean, on the outer sea, taking on some Sahagins, and you can see just how easily Thundara can clear. Resting up in Melmond. And now we are on our way to go buy our fire spells. Gotta stop and sell a couple of items from the Duergar Cave first, though. Keeping that cottage this time. Always good to kind of have like a little backup cottage, as the one in Duergar Cave does. So, Melmond is definitely one of the areas where you revisit a few times, but it's not that lucrative to visit there, as they don't have kind of the shops that we really need. Meanwhile, these undead on Preucheu's screen paralocking Preucheu's party. And it just shows how deadly these undead can be. And yep, that is a reset from Preucheu. And I fully understand that. Fully understand that there. Being paralocked is not fun and a huge time waster. Still has a decent lead though. We will see how long that lead lasts though. There is one encounter here that we do really like to see, and that is the Lesser Tigers being able to provide us with an X potion 4% of the time. We will take that encounter if we see it. Preucheu reaching Earth Cave here. Everybody say goodbye to our favorite warrior. Good luck. He's gonna be retiring here into a nice I guess cold room of stone within this next floor on basement 3. ShaneZell reaching Melmond. So this is going still a decent lead for Preucheu. Are they not picking up the Coral Sword here? We've got snakes, and snakes are poisoning us. So definitely good to keep a couple of antidotes for this area. No, Preucheu not picking up the Coral Sword here. Coral Sword is you can sell for a decent amount of money here. Instead, choosing to go straight to basement 3. As you can see, quick saving here. I do understand the quick save and running into the cockatrices right away, going right into defense mode. As we can see, the cockatrices do have the ability to stone some characters, like they just did with that warrior. And that's what we want to see. We want to see our warrior stoned, and we want to see our monk stoned here, providing a 75% chance for attacks to just miss. And that is pretty important. For if the monk does get stoned, we'll actually have a very good wall for both of our black mages come the mid game. Herb is not used to get stoned. It is cockatrices and gold needles end up removing stone Majorion. If only there was a spell that was stone, I'm sure that would be used and bought almost immediately. Here we have ShaneZell on. Oh, wait. We're still on bad puns. Oh, I just realized that. Alright, I'm gonna go put myself in the corner over here. I'm just gonna put my... Oh, wait, I'm in a corner. I'm just gonna look away for like 5 seconds. Okay, I'm back. ShaneZell, picking up that coral sword gonna be a decent item for selling, and for the warrior for at least this little bit here. Meanwhile, being stoned still provides you the EXP, so there's really no downside to being stoned outside of you're only working with half your party. So, ShaneZell getting the cockatrices here in a 4 cockatrice encounter. In my opinion, the better cockatrice encounter than the 2, because you have more chances for cockatrices to stone characters. So, with these cockatrices, we're just going to wait for that monk to get stoned. And meanwhile, going back to Preucheu's screen, we have the vampire here. Vampire is kind of the mini-boss. Okay, listen. Going down in 2 Firagas here. Vampire is weak to fire here, so kind of one-rounding him. And we're picking up that Star Ruby. And we're gonna have ShaneZell arrive at the vampire here soon. Are we gonna get a high five? There was a little high five there. I wish I had ShaneZell's luck into running into cockatrices. I always find myself grinding for them. Not really much to talk about. They're going up to Earth Cave here, or out of Earth Cave, to deliver that Star Ruby. ShaneZell arriving at the vampire and not healing before him. Interesting. Not bad. I never thought to not heal. 2 Firagas still will take him out, and that kind of spells death for the vampire as he gazes at the monk. Must really like that stonework. Almost looks lifelike, I guess. I don't know. Admires the work of Medusa, maybe. So both of them have the Star Ruby. Preucheu about a 4.5 ahead here. But we'll see how Lich decides to act, as that may cost the lead to change yet again. And running into that ogre. One thing about this run that we notice is that they are just deciding to flee from a few encounters. One of the things you have to realize is kind of what encounters you feel like are necessary to take versus what aren't necessary to take. And one ogre, while providing good gold, is it worth, especially an ogre chief, which might take 2 spells to kill, is it worth investing in those spell slots and using a couple of items in order to regain those sooner? Potentially having you use a couple more. Meanwhile, ShaneZell getting bombarded by encounters as Preucheu's about to go through this Golem Pass here. ShaneZell has not made it out of floor 3 and is now on floor 2 as Preucheu goes into the Sage's Cave. So, ShaneZell, level 14, very close to that 15th level where you're going to be able to get that third Firaga cast. And once you have that third cast of Firaga, you're more or less good for the Lich here. However, if it doesn't hit 196 times, you will have to cast Thundara. And that is never a good chance to see, having to go a 4th round into Lich. Lich already being very difficult and very trolly, spending more time with Lich can turn it into a party wipe instead of a party, instead of, you know, a party kill where the party gets to kill them. And we see the Lesser Tiger on Preucheu's screen. We'll look for this 4% chance to drop, and we do not get it, however. Sad. It is a 4% chance, but, you know, with the amount of RNG going against us, we'll take the 4% to go with us, I guess. Or maybe we just hit ourselves and want all the bad RNG. Who knows? Preucheu, cottaging up before re-entering Earth Cave, gaining back all of those spell slots, all of his HP. And ShaneZell running into 2 Lesser Tigers. So, hopefully getting that X Potion, and Preucheu also running into 2 Lesser Tigers as well. Going to take both of these encounters in order to try and get that X Potion. We do like to have that extra healing item going into Chaos. But we do not get it, sadly. Handing off of that Golem to Star Rubies. So if you're, you know, ever see a Golem, just feed them a rock, they'll eat it, and get out of your way. Any character requirement, character requirement for what, Crack Troop? If you're wondering if there's a character requirement for the names, you can kind of, so with, Crack, for the party, you can choose, you have 8 classes to choose from. However, the Warrior, Monk, and 2 Black Mages is the most risky party that you can choose, but it's also the fastest party because, as you can see, Preucheu and ShaneZell are just clearing encounters left and right with their spells. The other 2 parties you can use that are safer are a Warrior, Monk, Black Mage, and Red Mage, or a Warrior, Monk, Black Mage, and a White Mage. Using those would give you a couple of healing spells, so you're definitely safer and you can get more runs off the ground that way. But if you want specifically speed, double Black Mage is the way to go. And if you look back at like other runs, I think each Final Fantasy does run with a different party. So it's always interesting to see what can be done. And it does provide a lot of replayability, being able to kind of choose from 8 classes. And you can always challenge yourself, like 4 White Mages is the really popular Mimi one. 4 Black Mages, 4 Red Mages, 4 Black Belts for Warriors, Warrior, and Black Belts only. All that fun stuff. One of the things you will see us skip out on, though, is the Bahamut's trial of getting the Rat Tail. We do not actually class up in this. So our party right now is final. We have ShaneZell back in Earth Cave here on basement floor 2. and Preucheu going to basement floor 4. So there is still a gap, but not a big one at all. Lich can definitely tie this game back up here. Basement floor 4 of Earth Cave is pretty interesting. There are just a couple of small things you can do here. There's actually a small route divergence that can lead you to the same spot. In this area here, you can either take the bottom path or the top path, and it will lead you to the correct, to the stairs for basement floor 5. Just one, I think, gives you one extra encounter, so it's not actually that big of a difference. But it's one of those small things that I do like about this run here. There are like a couple of places where you can see people take a different route, where it doesn't necessarily matter in the long run. So they're about a floor apart right now. Floor and a half, we'll say. Preucheu's reaching basement floor 5, which is the Lich floor, so he's going to be arriving at Lich here within the next half a minute to a minute. ShaneZell still has a couple of more floors to go through. And we'll see if Lich decides to play nice. You do kind of want Lich to play nice, but if you do like watching this race and seeing how close it can be, you might potentially wish for a hard Lich here. And we have the Black Mage getting back up here on Preucheu's side as well as knocked out. Healing up, quick saving right before Lich, because Lich can be a monster. And he only gets worse on the refight. But Lich has access to powerful AoE spells, at least for this time period. Well, not time period, but for this time in the game. But 6 Fire should do him in. That first one doing 183, and that second one here doing 181, so he's going to have to dip into the Thundaras here. There's no question about it. If you're running this game and you notice that one of yours hits a 180 while the other hits a 190, you are more or less guaranteed to go into the Thundaras. So a 3-round Lich becomes a 4-round Lich. And that's not something you want to see, but Lich seeming to be playing very nice, and Lich goes down here. 53-minute Lich is absolutely exquisite. A sub-hour Lich is always something you want to see. So, with that 53-minute Lich, let's see what time Shane clears his Lich, and if he will actually get that nice of a Lich. He's now on floor 5. Preucheu leaving Earth Cave here. We'll get to see if Preucheu actually goes and picks up the silver armlets for both of the Black Mages, as that is a decision that you can make here at Melmond. If not, it does save you a little bit of time, but if those mages do get hit within Ice Cave or a Waterfall Cave, they will take a lot of damage. Meanwhile, looking at HP, you can see that Preucheu's Monk's definitely better in the HP department. Shane's only has 171, and I think I saw like 227 on Preucheu's Monk, so kind of getting to just a rough idea there. Both of the Black Mage HPs looking pretty similar though, each one having kind of a lower HP stat there. We'll see if he has to take a 4-round Lich. I think he does, and we don't necessarily want to see that. 276. So that's definitely a 30, and that is a 50, almost a 55 minutes. So about 2 minutes behind Preucheu there. We saw 290 coming from that one mage, hit ShaneZell's top black mage there. So we can safely say that that mage probably has hit its 30 intelligence threshold here at level like 17, level 18. So that is one of the things we're looking for. We're looking for 30 intelligence on the mages here, and not 300, but like high 300s in the HP for the monk. That way when we put the giant songs on him, he's as close to max HP as he can get. If he's over 400 HP, that's the best thing that we can hope for. And Preucheu almost making his way over here to Crescent Lake. It didn't look like he stopped in to grab those silver armlets. So his mages will be taking a little bit more damage. But each only having a 12.5% chance to get hit. Hopefully the RNG is with him. Taking the items off of the warrior in order to sell them. There's no reason for the warrior to have any armor or any weapons here, as he's just a stone brick that I guess the black mages are carrying around. I don't necessarily know how he moves. Selling all of that and going ahead and buying a couple of Phoenix Downs, buying some gold needles. And buying some ethers here as well. Every shop we kind of do here is important. This one is specifically for the Ice Cave and Waterfall Cavern. And we also are going to grab our Thundagas here. Thundagas being our kind of big damage spell for the Sea Shrine, for the Waterfall Cave, and Ice Cave as well. Obtaining our canoe on Preucheu's side. So we are getting that there. ShaneZell coming down to pick up his canoe. Like we know, he's relatively 2 minutes behind. The worst in the world to be behind at. Taking the centipedes, dying to 2 Furagas here. Preucheu on the way to Ice Cavern in this river. In this river, we do have a lot of dangerous encounters. We have White Crocs, which can be decently speedy. We have the Neo-Chews, which are also just not fun to face. However, Thundaga does take them down in that river. But if they get the chance to go off and attack, they will do a lot of damage hitting that black mage. Hydras and crocodiles as well. It is not a fun time to be a black mage in some clothes when these, white crocs and stuff can just almost one-shot you. Ending up before Ice Cavern. Not a bad thing to do. Allows you to restore a couple of your spell charges, especially for Thundagas, where you only have 2 at this point. And you can see that stoned warrior doing his job, doing his duty to the party, and taking hits and taking no damage. Into the Ice Cavern here. This place is filled with some scary encounters, mainly white dragons. Just being able to cast Ice Storm. White wolves aren't as scary, but they are still able to cast Ice Storm, doing damage to your black mages, and they will not appreciate that storm of ice. They do not like the hail. They will take damage. So, as you can see, Fyra is still really good in Ice Cavern. Because everything's ice here. Fire is super effective against ice. Pokemon logic works for outside of Pokemon games, everybody. It's how I remember Dragon weaknesses in this game. We can see ShaneZell picking up his Thundaga cast in his shops as well. So, you can see that this money on the game is pretty tight as of right now. ShaneZell only having 131 gil left over. Having just kind of done a small grind outside of Elfheim. But having that canoe is definitely going to help here. Just allows you to get into those rivers, allows for an easier time crossing certain paths. You have to go. And Preucheu falling down. Taking this robed encounter, this what would be a tile encounter on older games, but is no longer. That would be your tile encounter there. And just going straight down, there is some safety in picking up those items off to the left of Preucheu's screen, but it's not necessarily needed, just used for a couple of extra gil. Runners being this high, you know, they probably scoff at so we're going to have Preucheu coming up on his Levy Stone. And ShaneZell approaching Ice Cavern here within the next minute or minute and a half. Not picking up that safety ether. Not needed. Too far out of the way. 2 steps is too many steps to take for that ether. And we quick save here. Picking up the gil, picking up an item to sell. We can see that now he's going to face his Evil Eye. It's going to be a Thundaga and done. As there's really no point. Oh, 2 Thundagas. Sorry, it's a Furaga and done. But Preucheu has his Levy Stone at 1:3:19. So, 1 hour, 3 minutes, 19 seconds. Not a bad time for a Levy Stone, as now he's on his way to get the airship, falling down that hole there, clearing out that static encounter again, and making his way outside of Ice Cave. As the mages kind of leave a trail of destruction in their wake. Getting an ice shield from the wolves, a little bit of extra gil to sell once you get to your final shop of the game here. Not a bad drop, not a bad drop. But Preucheu, a few steps away from the stairs, gets stopped by 5 Paizo demons. And just says, leave me alone. Up the stairs, out of Ice Cavern, on his way to pick up the airship. So there will be next to no encounters once you pick up the airship. You're only going to run into a handful more, really, once it happens. Once that airship comes into our grasp. Preucheu kind of holding the lead here. It's not been exchanged for a while. But this is no time to slack off here, as after you kind of defeat Lich and before Tiamat, you kind of get lulled into this more or less safety, because you're not really having anything difficult. You just kind of completed Lich, the very first difficult boss, and Kraken coming up here within a few minutes isn't going to be that difficult. So you're not really worried about Kraken unless he decides to attack one of your mages. So ShaneZell picking up that ether there in Ice Cavern. It's right next to the door. And now Preucheu coming up. And entering the cutscene to get his airship. And running into those white dragons. Picking up the gill and the shield. Falling down to face his Levy Stone. Picking up his Levy Stone at 107.29. So almost 4 minutes behind. So you can kind of see that Preucheu has kind of extended his lead, and picking up the healing items over here at the Dragon Caves. Picking up the X Potion and a little bit of extra gil here. And just heading right back out. You also have the elixir here over at this other one. So, grabbing these couple of healing items, I wonder if he will actually grab the third elixir over in Chaos Shrine, or if he will maintain with two being a tad bit faster here. However, that third one does provide you with a lot of extra safety. And heading into Waterfall Cave for Preucheu. And ShaneZell about to leave Ice Cavern here. So, we're having going into the Waterfall Cave. We are going to grab our cube, Warp Cube for Tiamat, as well as our first ribbon. Waterfall Cavern isn't that dangerous of an area, actually. There are only a couple of things that should scare you, and one of those being the green dragon here. Other one being the golems, because the golems can cast haste. And hasted golems is going to still punch you for a lot of damage. And I don't think you can flex tape over that. Meanwhile, a very weird encounter over on ShaneZell's screen. Neo 2, a Hydra, 2 Crocodiles, and 2 of these Piranhas, all taken out within 2 spells, so you get to see the power kind of the double Black Mage composition coming in. An encounter that would have probably taken a while to clear otherwise. Taken out in 1 round. These White Crocodiles going down to 1 Thundagi here. And play Golem on Preucheu's screen, casting that haste. That's the issue spell here. Haste allowing him to attack more times, just being able to punch harder. And another scripted encounter here. Of 2 mummies, a king mummy, 3 pyralisks, and 3 cockatrices. So this would kind of be your last chance to get your warrior monk stoned if you didn't already, but at that point it'd be better to grind. Grabbing the defender, grabbing all of this skill, grabbing that ribbon, and grabbing the wizard staff here. Equipping the ribbon. Ribbon being the best defensive item in the game. And grabbing that warp cube. Getting back to the ribbon here, that does take half damage from all magical attacks and makes you immune to all statuses. It will come in handy, especially since we have 3 of them. And by the end of the game, we're going to have 3 things that are going to be unstoned. So, that is a 1-to-1 on ribbons. Going to both of your Black Mages and to your Monk. Yeah, Matt, it's... Ribbons are honestly insane. If you go and take a look back at the hype race between FF Steve and myself, there is I accidentally sold one of my ribbons to the caravan because I pressed A too fast, and you can see the difference in damage that a ribboned mage takes versus a non-ribboned mage. And it does make a huge difference, especially at Chaos. So, if there are a couple PSAs, one is buy your Phoenix Downs. And, you know, make sure you don't sell your ribbons. I mean, I'm not coming out and say that I sold the ribbon, but I definitely had 2 ribbons by the end of that run, and you're supposed to have 3. And thank you, Hab. I am trying to color commentate the best I can. There's definitely been some silence here, but I hope I'm doing a good job. Meanwhile, you do see the nightmares. The nightmares can be a little bit of annoyance, snorting, casting dark on your mages. Not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but just a tad bit of annoyance. A tad bit. Weird that we're seeing mummies in here. Like, I just never understood that encounter. ShaneZell going into his scripted encounter with the King Mummy, the 2 mummies and 3 pyralisks, and the 3 cockatrices in order to pick up his ribbon, defender, wizard staff, and warp cube, as well as a couple of extra gil. Preucheu picking up his buffed fairy, picking up his 3 giants tonics and whatever speed drinks and strength drinks he wants. 3 giants tonics being used for the end of the game here in order to grab that monk and bring it up to his max HP here. His monk is sitting at 306 HP, a very good HP amount here after Waterfall Cave. So he is not hurting for HP in his monk in the slightest. Meanwhile, ShaneZell having 229 HP on his monk as he enters Waterfall Cave. There might be a couple of levels of difference there, but you can see with the RNG rolls just how interesting this is. Although one of his mages does have 210, which is which you do like to see your mage HP very close to your monk. That means that the mage did get some decently high rolls there. Well, the other one is at 154. So here we are picking up 3 protect rings, both for both of his mages and his monk. And moving on to the final shop in the game, usually maxing out your ethers. Having 36 here, 34 high potions. Respect. I can't say that I'm comfortable with those numbers, but I've not been running the game as long as these two have. So he says he needs 36 ethers. He needs 36 ethers, boys. It's one of the final item shops in the game. You might see one coming up at Cornelia, right before Chaos Shrine, or one coming up in Onrak after Kraken. That all depends on what they want to do here. Preucheu grabbing his Oxyale, allowing him to actually go to the Sea Shrine here. And ShaneZell finishing up Waterfall Cave, about to head to his caravan as well. And we have Preucheu almost on his way to Onrak. Will he cottage up before Onrak is the question. The answer is no, he will not. Will he actually heal up? Nope. He's going to go straight to the Sea Shrine. Tell that man to get out of his way. He's got to go to the Sparrow. ShaneZell going to the Dragon Isles, picking up the healing items as well as a little bit of extra gil. Might be just trying to save and just shop at Gaia and be done with it. And Preucheu coming into Sea Shrine. Interesting thing about Sea Shrine is that it puts you right into the middle of the dungeon and not actually on floor 1 or floor 5. So you're on floor 3 and you get to choose whether to go up or down. You mainly want to go up though, as if you go down, you're going to run into Kraken, and up is where you get your Rosetta Stone and your Diamond Armlet as well. It's just easier to go up here, grab those 2 items, and head down. Grabbing the Rosetta Stone in order to grab the final piece for Tiamat here of the Chime. ShaneZell entering the caravan here, buying his Bottled Fairy. And we'll get to see what kind of 3 Giant Tonics and 3 Speed Drinks as well. Speed Drinks used in order to have your monk be able to hit more in order to get above that 20 hit count at haste would allow you to grab. You might be able to hit 24 times. Heading to Gaia, dropping off the ferry, releasing it, and going to the final item shops of the game here, potentially. As we see on Preucheu's side, running into 2 in the Sea Shrine, you have plenty of encounters that are high XP yield and high gold yield. As you can see, the 2 white sharks, though, do take 2 spell encounters in order to clear. Grabbing the Diamond Armlet and putting it on the mage for the time being. One of the best defensive items in the game, and that is also the saving grace for the monk defense-wise here. And there's our Rosetta Stone, everybody. Being able to teach us Lunafean. And being able to grab our Chime here. As Preucheu now makes his way to the bottom of Sea Shrine. As ShaneZell is coming up on grabbing his Oxyale. The main question in Sea Shrine here is how many encounters do you take, as this is one of the highest EXP yielding locations outside of Chaos Shrine. The more encounters you take here, the less you have to take over in Chaos Shrine if you are taking any in Chaos Shrine to begin with. This is mainly where you're going to grab most of your levels for Chaos in one area. As these runners are probably going to try to get to Chaos at level 28, 29. Instead of like your 30, 31s, and 32s. So we're going to be able to see exactly what goes on. We see that Preucheu is now on floor 3 here. ShaneZell making his way over to the barrel. And going straight up in order to continue on. An interesting thing about floor 5, however, is that on floor 5 there are no encounters, as you saw when Preucheu cleared it, and you will see with ShaneZell clearing it. There will not be a single encounter there. Just a little bit of interesting trivia. Probably already knew that, but figured I would still give it out. In case, anybody wants to start a Final Fantasy, bar trivia night. Who knows? There are 2 more chests that we mainly want here, though. Grabbing the Giant's Gloves, giving the best spell to buff up your attack in the game here, of Saber. Just having your monk use that as an item, prep it up for a few turns, is going to heavily increase his damage along with the tempers as they do stack. And we're also going to grab our second ribbon here for our other black mage, allowing both of our mages now to take half from all magical damage and no status as well. Here we have our Giant's Gloves box filled with monsters before they give us the gloves. I like to think that it's held by the King Mummy here. ShaneZell picking up his Rosetta Stone here at 121.56. And now making his way down to his Giant's Gloves, his ribbon, his other ribbon, and to Kraken. So we'll see if Kraken wants to be nice or if he wants to be the one to give our runners a tad bit of trouble. And we'll see if there's any way that they'll unstone the monk. I don't think they will, though. You usually don't unstone him until the road to Tiamat. But here we are on the first floor of the Sea Shrine for Preucheu. Trying to clear encounters. We can see that ShaneZell's taking out 1 white shark encounter. Not exactly sure about that. On whether or not the white sharks are good EXP on their own, or if they are, if he just wanted that little bit of extra gold, might trying to get a final shop in outside of Gaia. But as you can see, most of the Sea Shrine encounters just going down into 1 Thundaga here. So there's no issue at all in trying to clear anything or make sure that gets scared of any encounters here. Your mages are pretty beefed up here. Spell-wise. They've gotten their power from their local library. They studied day and night, took their AP exams, and they realized that they don't need to take AP exams. Because they're mages. And instead decided to study magic. But we have Preucheu reaching Kraken. And we're going to see exactly what goes on here. If Kraken decides to be nice or not, we really would like to see some inking. As inking affects everybody, but will affect no one because of our ribbons and stoned characters here. Instead of that single attack, but if he does single attack, he has a 75% chance to hit both the hit either the warrior or the monk. As the warrior has a 50% chance to get hit, monk has a 25% chance, and both of the black mages have a 12.5% chance. But if you've played this game long enough, that's up for you to decide if that's true or not. Kraken first giving the ink here, attacking the monk here So Kraken more or less going down. He spent his 2 attacks doing absolutely nothing. A very nice Kraken for Preucheu, as he clears out Kraken at 125.02, if not 125 flat. So that means we're now on to Tiamat here. Tiamat being another scary encounter and where everything can go wrong. Tiamat is the hardest one out of the first Elemental Fiend fights, the first Fiend fights that you have, and it's definitely what I would consider to be a wall as well. If you all want to see Warmech, I guess you can start praying for it. Preucheu going ahead, buying up his high potions, buying up ethers, getting some items for the end run here, making sure that he's got enough. And we will see what exactly he does with Tiamat. ShaneZell still in Sea Shrine. So, Preucheu making his way down to Melmond in order to actually learn the Lunafan that he needs for that chime, because if not, you know, can't actually ask for the chime. Or I guess Tiamat isn't necessarily in their language. Here we are with the man who looks suspiciously like Edward from Final Fantasy IV. Just a little bit. Might be Edward's ancestor, so. But starts learning Lunafan. Teaches you it from the Rosetta Stone. So. We'll get to see as he makes his way over to Lunafea. And ShaneZell on the Kraken floor here. Makes it... is making it so close to the Kraken. Hopefully he gets a very easy Kraken as well. Make his way down. You're probably going to run into 2 to 3 encounters here for Lunafea. These encounters are not troubling in the slightest. Here we are, the quick save for ShaneZell. And we enter the Kraken fight. As you can see, all of the boss fights are in the form of an orb. So here we go. We'll see what 2 attacks Kraken wants to do. As one is just an attack on the warrior, that's fine. There goes a third of his health. Comes another third of his health. And, yep, another very easy Kraken going to ShaneZell. Definitely happy to see that. Any Fiend fight that's relatively simple is a Fiend fight that you want to see. Be it Merilith, Kraken, Tiamat, or Lich. So, now we're just getting our Water Crystal on ShaneZell's side, making our way back to our airship, and going into Mirage Tower. One of the final few dungeons. An hour and 30 minutes in. Never casually would not have been able to think about this. And it's still a little surprising to see the hour 30 to Mirage Tower. ShaneZell picking up the final shop at Onrak as well, making his way out, getting the ethers that he needs, getting the high potions that he needs, cottaging up here, getting full HP back. And full spell slots. And we are now on the second floor for Preucheu, running into Chimeras. And a couple of, like, the Warmech, like, I don't necessarily know if it's Warmech's kin, but, like, a couple of Guardians. So... Did you see Black Mage is still taking everything out with their spells? Soon they will become the support characters to the main character, but the main character is sleeping right now. And on ShaneZell scene, he's learning Lunafan with a few nods, hops, and all that fun stuff. It must be a visual language, maybe. Vampire Lords. Preucheu's ahead by last I checked 4 minutes. So if you want ShaneZell to win, hopefully you're hoping for a bad Tiamat on Preucheu's side, although I wouldn't want to wish a bad Tiamat on anybody. But run is not over until the final hit on Chaos. So this 4 minute being ahead 4 minutes at Tiamat, you know, isn't anything. This 4 minutes is kind of just I've got maybe a Chaos White buffer. Chaos will be Chaos, so it is still anybody's race. ShaneZell making it to Lunafea now, though. And here we are on the Flying Fortress, second floor. This being where we grab our last ribbon to put on our monk. You know, ShaneZell getting the really bad NPC RNG. Nobody likes seeing that NPC ever, you know, go the same way you're going. I think that's 333 HP on Preucheu's health, Preucheu's health, and almost 300 on ShaneZell's monk. So definitely looking better in the HP departments there for ShaneZell. He is making his way into the Mirage Tower now, as Preucheu is now on the... Oh! Was that a miss? Yep, that was a miss input on Preucheu's part. It just goes right back up, and right back into the other one again. As now he's on the fourth floor. The fourth floor is another very interesting floor. You can kind of take any route that you want in order to grab it. It's supposed to be a little bit of a maze here. But if you know where you're going, it's not bad at all. Plus, you do have a little bit of a map here. So there's no reason for you to get lost, but I've seen people go up into the left. I've now seen Preucheu go up into the right. That's just a little floor here that can change everything. And this is the floor with Warmech, everybody. So either pray for Warmax or don't pray for Warmax. And Captain of the Dork stating that it could be clearing the random encounter, resetting. That is true. I didn't actually think of that. So thank you for bringing that up, Captain. Meanwhile, on to Tiamat here. what I would call my nemesis. Because I've definitely received a bunch of bad Tiamats instead of good Tiamats, so I'm hoping that Tiamat will be their friend. But here you start seeing the main strat for the rest of the game, and Tiamat taking out the first mage with haste. That's not something you want to see. And then using a blaze here. The monk does survive that as well as the mage, but you're probably not going to be getting a couple too much out with that mage there. Poison gas. This Tiamat's definitely not looking fun. As it goes down, and here it goes, and that's just what Tiamat can do. Tiamat can just decide to not attack the warrior that's sitting ever so still for him, but instead just go for whatever he wants. The guy has plenty of elemental spells, so even though he has like a 40% chance to attack, those elemental spells will do damage here. A blaze there, but being able to get that temper and haste off right away is something that's very good. And meanwhile, you see the adaptation from these runners, from Preucheu himself, of just being able to switch over and give the monk the high potion to where he's able to survive another hit here with Thunderbolt of all things. But I think that's still... Oh, the monk at 1 HP and Tiamat just not being friendly. This is why I said Tiamat could be a wall. Tiamat just doesn't ever want to be a friend to whoever she doesn't like, and apparently is not liking Preucheu right now. But you could just see the adaptation of Preucheu here, of just being able to switch that high potion ever so slightly quicker than I would have. I probably would have done it next round, and being able, giving it to him 1 round early definitely means a lot more here. Yeah, Tiamat RNG is the thing. Tiamat is another run ender, along with like that Lich Astos area. So, seeing that 1,000 damage, I think Tiamat goes down on another hit though, so we will be good here. Oh, never mind. Hit low. However, Tiamat is down with 3 hits from the monk. The monk holds on, and gets Tiamat down, but you can kind of see those couple of wipes from Tiamat. ShaneZell is now entering Tiamat as Preucheu has just finished Tiamat, so that 4-minute time save that Preucheu had no longer exists. This is a race, people. Like I said, it's not over until the final hit of Chaos is scored. But as you can see, Preucheu put the monk in the third slot. ShaneZell's electing to keep it in the second, having it being attacked more. And it's a personal preference on where to keep it. However, the monk is now not having fun, but the monk goes down first try for ShaneZell in 2 hits here with 113 HP, all that, like half the XP going to the monk there. It's definitely not bad. You see the support of the mages. No crack. Bane Sword is not an insta-kill here. It's not used in this run, actually. But you see Preucheu starting to enter Mount Gulag. And as you can see, the name of the game here is The Floor is Lava, because you are in a volcano. Whenever you are on a lava tile, you are not getting an encounter. However, your encounter, you will still go up by 1 for each step you take. Usually, for early game, it's about like 25 to 30, maybe 35 steps per encounter. And it does change coming on, so each time you're taking a step on that lava tile, you are increasing your step count for the next encounter. Which is why you're kind of seeing runners get an encounter on the first time they're ever on a land tile. So... second floor, if executed correctly, looks really nice. Look at that. Good job, ShaneZell. I love the execution of that floor. Floor 2 is just looks so good when done correctly. So, coming down. They're only a floor apart right now. Merilith isn't too hard of a boss, however, Merilith can still strike for a decent bit. And if she decides to attack the incorrect thing, it can steer things in the wrong direction here. So, Merilith's going to be going down in 2 hits here. You have the first hit, and you can just see like those ribbons putting in work at fire are doing only 46 HP. Merilith going down for Preucheu on 141.39. We'll see how far ShaneZell's behind here. We'll do a little time check here. As Preucheu starts, gets the Fire Crystal and is on his way to Chaos Shrine. ShaneZell now entering the fight with Merilith. As you can see, not stopping Cornelia to pick up. Not even cottaging outside of Chaos Shrine. Gets the Chaos Shrine encounter. Not something you really want to see. Doesn't really... It's just an annoyance here. But is now going back in time. Missing that dark here. So... while you see them both buffing up the monk for Merilith here, there is another way you can go about this. You can just start casting Blizzagas on your black mages. Merilith going down on 1 hit at 143 exactly, so about a minute and a half behind. Just from those 2 to 3 Tiamat wipes, he is lost. Preucheu's lead has gone from 4 minutes to only like a minute and a half here. Even less than that, really. Going back to the Merilith strats, though, you can cast Blizzagas on your black mages, and that will clear in about Kraken's time there. So, not a bad strat there. It's just an alternate strat you can do. And now ShaneZell is on his way to Chaos Shrine as well. Being at Chaos Shrine, you do have a couple of things you can do. Chaos Shrine does have plenty of high experience encounters here, so you can decide to grind for maybe 1 or 2 more levels, just to get like some extra HP for Chaos. Picking up that elixir, so each Preucheu going for 3 healing items into Chaos, a very good idea. Playing his loot, and but the encounters in Chaos Shrine, going back to those, do have high experience. They do take time to clear, though. So you can choose just whether or not you want to run from the encounters, or if you want to go ahead, grab the couple of... grab the XP from these fights, and get your couple of levels there. Meanwhile, we see that the encounters that you will get. Estimate finish of this game, I would be surprised if the runs go over 2 hours, 10 minutes, Filbert. Just to give you an idea, their PBs on this, Preucheu's is a 152.45 and ShaneZell's is a 155.03. So they're only 3 minutes apart. Which is why this race is so exciting and so close right now. But as you can see, the encounters are kind of encounters that you've already encountered in the overworld. So if you actually learn the weaknesses of, you know, like zombie dragons or chimeras, you can exploit the weaknesses with your black mage who do have the elemental spells. Really? So Shane... Okay, never mind. This race has both 1 hour 52 minute PBs. Which is absolutely insane. So this race just got even better, everyone. Oh boy. like if you wanted to see some high level Final Fantasy, this is definitely the right race for it. Meanwhile, we are getting to the first elemental fight on Preucheu's screen being Lich. Thing about these elemental fights, though, or elemental refights, is that they lose their weaknesses. So Lich is no longer weak to Firaga. Fire spells, Kraken's no longer weak to 152 was world record time to 3 months ago. Okay. Lich is no longer weak to fire spells, Kraken's no longer weak to thunder spells, and Marilith is no longer weak to blizzard spells. You do have that. Plus, each of them do kind of get a couple of new attacks. Lich has a new attack called Flare, and we do not want to see that at all here. So... Not seeing Flare from Lich. Preucheu does finish the Lich. Very, very good. Should Flare have come out, that would have been sad times at Ridgemont High, really. On to the Marilith floor, as ShaneZell reaches the Lich floor. As you can kind of see, these floors are modeled after each boss, so if you know kind of the boss that you're fighting, you can use the spells that they're weak to kind of clear most encounters out on the floor. So in the Marilith floor, you can use Blizzaga here and be perfectly fine. In the Lich floor, you can use Firaga and, you know, clear out encounters decently quickly. It's all what you want to do here, as each time you do clear an encounter, it does take a little bit of time, though. ShaneZell reaching his Lich fight. Let's hope we do not see a Flare here either. Never mind, commentator's cursed over here. One of the mages goes down to that Flare. And we are... we don't like this Lich right now. But we are seeing the tempers, haste, and everything go up. About 3 tempers and a couple of haste here. Lich is now playing nice, but he'll go down in another hit. And there we go. Lich is down as Preucheu is setting up for Marilith. So we're still having a close race, and a couple of wipes to Chaos, or a wipe to Chaos, can change this lead here. And we'll see just what happens. Preucheu clearing Marilith here, down with the 2 Fiends, down with the Bouncer, and the drunk guy in the corner, is now moving on to the dance floor where he needs to fight the DJ in this casino. And ShaneZell passed the bouncer here, moving on to the drunk guy in the corner, trying to make it so he can get to the VIP room in this casino. Now, I'll say that they're at the low ballers table now, with Preucheu's at the low baller table with Kraken. Now, I'm trying to come up with these casino metaphors. It's just not working. Anyway, moving on. The reason they call it the casino is just because it's full of RNG. You're going to sit down with Chaos, play a game of Texas Hold'em, and hope that you have the royal flush. Merilith on ShaneZell's screen, moving down the line and auto-attacking everything. Firaga here. As you can see, that just doesn't do that much damage. It's only 100. And we don't necessarily hate, love it, but we don't hate it either. Merilith going down into 2 hits here for ShaneZell, getting that EXP on his monk, having to revive his mages, but that's perfectly fine. Preucheu on the Kraken floor, should almost be done with it. ShaneZell on the same floor as Preucheu now, though. Preucheu moving to his Kraken fight. Here we go. Moving that monk back over. Kraken no longer weak to Thundaga. So we've got to rely on monk punchies. Probably set up a couple of turns and just start swinging. Meanwhile, if you take a look at ShaneZell, geez, I've been saying that so much, I've probably butchered it 70 times. Sorry, ShaneZell. He's almost at Kraken and is almost back to neck and neck with these runners. So this is absolutely insane. Kraken goes down for Preucheu, which is very good. And now Preucheu onto the Tiamat floor, the one of the elemental fiends that actually got hit with the nerf bat here. Each of the other fiends kind of getting a buff here. Tiamat didn't really receive that. Is actually the it's actually the weakest out of the elemental refights. Yeah, they are at the same table, John, and it is a very fun race game as well. I heavily enjoy this. It's a very fun game. It's a very fun game to run too, and it's a very easy game to learn. There's not really any heavy strats that you're really going for. ShaneZell down with Kraken. Kraken deciding to be really nice there as well. We'll get to see if Tiamat 2 decides to continue to rear its ugly head as it did in 1. But we will see. Getting that high potion off. Healing up the monk. Preucheu's monk at 426 HP, so once we use those Giant's Tonics, that will be 999 HP there. ShaneZell at 347, so that will be 947 for ShaneZell's monk. Not a bad HP to be at. And one of the Black Mages Preucheu goes down. Not the end of the world, though. Poison gas here, taking out that other monk. Going... just sending out that damage, taking Tiamat down in 2 hits. But you can even tell that as that fight finished, ShaneZell's already in his Tiamat fight, so the gap gets ever closer. This is going to be decided by Chaos. There is no doubt about this. Preucheu reaching into Chaos. Last of the Chaos Shrine. Finally at the high roller table. And wants the house to lose. But will the house lose? That all depends. Save before Chaos. Here we go. Tiamat down for ShaneZell. So, we'll do a time when they enter the Chaos fight here, just to see how fast they are, or how close they are together. And this will be kind of the last time check. 154.45 for Preucheu entering the Chaos fight. And we've got the Blizzard here. That's one that we want to see. Doesn't do a lot of damage. And now we're starting the setup after we got the Giant's Tonics on him. We do see the X Potion coming out from the Black Mage here. Meanwhile, ShaneZell about to enter the Chaos fight on his screen here as well. Is a 155.27, so less than a minute apart, almost a minute apart here. And we see Thundaga on ShaneZell's side. That's not something we really want to see. Chaos definitely being better with Preucheu here. Oh, we see Tsunami. Oh. Oh no, ShaneZell. Oh no. You're seeing both sides of Chaos here though. Chaos being ever so slightly nicer with Preucheu, and Chaos being not so nice to ShaneZell. 4,000 damage with that monk, so that's about 3 to 4 more hits here for Preucheu, and Chaos is over. Cyclone going down. There go the mages, but you're not necessarily worrying. That's now 12,000 HP. That's about 8,000 HP there for that monk. Going for the safety heal here. That's definitely good. Tsunami coming in, but you're at full HP. And there we go. A 156.37 for Preucheu. Preucheu being the winner here. GG's to Preucheu. And, get your GG's in chat. Meanwhile, ShaneZell. Watch ShaneZell for his fight as we wait for Preucheu to join us in the box here. Both of them are down. And you're still setting up. You're trying to get to that sweet 4,000 mark, as that's the one that you want. Taking up that elixir there for ShaneZell, getting that Blizzara. Oh, and he goes down. Not something we want to see there. Flare is a nasty, nasty spell, most definitely. But we're just seeing like the two sides of Chaos. A decently easy Chaos here, and a Chaos that is not being so nice to ShaneZell. Yeah, there is some, running back and forth you can do. I saw yesterday, Hab took a couple of victory laps around in front of Chaos and got the first try there. So
you have a decent amount here.
Meanwhile, not being able to get off those speed drinks isn't fun to see. Monk at 297 HP here. Oh. Yeah, this is not fun in the slightest here. Chaos rearing his ugly head. As the house says, the house will win. We're trying to prove that that is not the case. And we get the air damage for that one, so he just kind of falls on the floor. And we're now setting up to see exactly what we can punch here and how hard we can punch. Being nice and attacking the warriors, we're setting up our Giant's Gloves. There's the flare, though. It's 400 damage, about half your HP at that level. Speed drinking it up. Cyclone. Not liking that at all. So Chaos did haste, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're dead here. He does about 870, if I remember correctly, on my Chaos, when Chaos did attack my monk for that. He can heal lock your monk, though, and if that's the case, that's just a reset. But it is not necessarily the end of the world that he's hasted. And there we go. That's what we didn't want to see, but that's what we got. Haste is a really ugly spell because of what happens after after you get hasted. Haste itself on Chaos is just a turn, is a turn wasted, and can be heavily, and I mean heavily, taken advantage of. And the first turn flare. That's not something you want to see. Shane, you are... Yeah, Shane has the patience of a saint, it looks like, as he's still going up and trying to fight Chaos. There are some people that would have gotten, I probably would start going into the salt mine and digging out salt here. So this is not really that fun to see, really. Well, not that it's not fun, but, if you're running, it's not fun to see. And stuff slowly doesn't go your way. Like a turn 1 flare, or... However, let's see what goes on here. Chaos looking like it's working out ever so slightly nicer here. And there we go. A 205.19 for ShaneZell, finishing Chaos. GG's to ShaneZell for being able to take
Yeah,
and welcome GG's Preucheu.
hey, thanks.
That was a fun race to watch. There were multiple points in the early part of the game where you all were just switching leads. It was crazy, and then hearing that you both had a 152 coming into this race just made it that much more fun to watch.
Yeah, I was expecting a close race, and yes, it was a close one.
It did come down to chaos. I saw the Tiamat.
Yeah, Tiamat was not fun, but if chaos is nice, you win.
Yeah, that's all that matters in the end.
Yes.
Is that chaos?
Yeah. In this tournament, 2 first try chaos. I hope it will be the same in every race.
That we will see, especially in the future.
I don't think it will happen, but let's hope.
Yeah. Let's see. You know, the only problem with this though is that now we can't have this race later. We've had ShaneZell versus Thunderclawed. We've had you versus ShaneZell. Like, we're getting all the good races out of the way.
Yes. And on Thursday, I'll be, against Claude. It's a tough week.
No, but it was definitely a fun race to see.
Yes. But it's nice the tournament is happening. I mean, the races are great and the game is good.
Most definitely. I saw you get that crazy horse encounter. How excited were you for that?
Well, it was okay. On the first race, I had 2 explosions on a tiger fight. I hope to have the same there, but it didn't happen.
Yes.
And it will never happen ever again. But,
Yep.
so I think Shane was ahead at the beginning or after Tiamat, I guess.
It was mainly in the beginning. There was actually a time where you were like 4 minutes ahead, and then when you went into like Tiamat, you finished Tiamat as he entered the Tiamat fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so
I died 3 times, I guess.
Yeah, like 2 to 3 times, but
Yes.
when I did like kind of a few time checks, it was you were 4 minutes ahead at one point, and about a minute and a half ahead into chaos.
Okay. I mean, the race was my run was pretty good. The cockatrices, it was pretty long to get petrified, but in the end it was okay. Leash was nice. I had the preemptive piscos, so yeah. I died on my way to Earth's Cave, getting stunned by the ghosts. But except that, the run was clean.
Yeah, no, it was definitely.
I died to Astos too one time, and I hesitated to reset when I killed him the second time because my 2 mages were dead. But I was like, well, let's go. Because I fought Buccaneers, and I had enough money before that.
Yeah, there were definitely a decent amount of Buccaneers. I was watching you at the Gaia shop, and you just bought like 36 ethers, and I kind of was like, I don't like that number. He's comfortable with it, but I'm not. It just kind of shows like how comfortable you both have become with this run of just like not buying, you know, as much as
Yeah.
you can at both of those.
Yes, I actually I count every spell I have when I am in Earth Cave. I'm like 4-1, 4-1, counting my Sundaras and Fire Gas. And yeah, the notes say 25 ethers for in Cornelia, but I usually buy 20 or 21, and it's okay.
Yeah, it was a crazy race. One of the things I did want to ask you about though is the shopping in on rack. Is that just, um something that you do as like a safety just for this run, or is it something that you do in runs in general?
It depends on how many ethers and iPods I have on Gaia. I have to make my notes. I mean, I don't know how many ethers and eye potions I need in Gaia to be safe for the rest of the run. So to be sure, I always go to unrack after Water Temple to buy a 99. But I think with maybe 60 eye potions and ethers in Gaia, it should be okay. But usually I can't have that much Phoenix down if I take a lot of eye potions or ethers. So if I'm lucky, I don't have to go to unrack, but it's almost never, I'd say.
Mm. I mean, let's see if Shane wants to join. Do you want to join, Shane? I know that. Um, go ahead and get.
The invite is on race time.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's in race time. It's in the race time chat. So I can. There
All right,
is the other man of the hour. GG ShaneZell.
Okay.
man. That was a run, all right.
That honestly, that was. I had like there were times where I was like color commentating this and flipping back and forth, just over and over and over again, because you both were just doing like very important things on the stream.
Yeah, I got really far behind on Astos.
Well,
I had 3 really long fights that all ended in death before I finally beat him, and that just set me behind for a while. I got into Earth Cave, and I got into a Pocket Fist battle that lasted for like 2 minutes.
They just wouldn't stone your monk.
Yeah, just stoned a fighter and a black mage, and that's all they tried to attack. And it just set me pretty far behind. I felt like I started to catch up somewhat, but then Chaos just wasn't kind. As per usual.
I mean, there was a time where you were 4 minutes behind, as I told Preucheu, but like you caught up almost neck and neck at Tiamat.
Yeah, I probably would have gotten ahead before Chaos, honestly, if I wasn't forced to take every single battle. My monk had barely 200 HP entering Sea Shrine.
Oh,
Yeah, that was something that I did note, was just, you know, you take a look at the monk HPs. Preucheu was definitely better in that department.
My monk was a monster. I entered the last dungeon with 390 HP. My problem was with the mage that had no HP and he always died in the Tiamat fight and couldn't cast haste and this kind of thing, but it's more important to have the HPs on the monk.
But yeah, I felt forced to take everything, even single white sharks. I was just taking.
Yes, I took every shark in Water Temple for my mage, but I didn't take anything in the last dungeon.
Yeah. Those HP rolls can definitely get you, but the fact that you were able to like stick through that chain and like at the chaos fight just have the temperance to keep fighting, if that's the correct word to use there.
Well, it's just you just gotta finish.
Yeah,
it may not have been pretty, but it happened. I mean, I did mess up twice in two of the chaos battles that it didn't really change anything. I was still going to lose. But there was a couple mistakes in there after I started getting a little annoyed. But,
no, but sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just sometimes that happens. I mean, it was looking okay for like a pretty easy sub 2, but of course I sit there on chaos for like 10 plus minutes every time now.
Yeah, I feel you.
It means should chaos be is scared.
Like a 2.5 minute fight. That's ideal. Not over 10 minutes. That starts to become a bit much.
Yeah, but like I told Preucheu, the only problem with having this now is that I know most of your races are done, Shane, but we don't get this later.
Yeah, well my first race I was like, I'm gonna go up against Thunder. Let's get the toughest one out of the way first. And the same thing happened on Chaos. The rest of my run was mostly acceptable except for my Earth Cave. Again, I always have terrible Earth Caves. And Chaos, apparently.
Like we just don't get to see these hype matches like later on in the month. We get them out of the way right now.
Well, I actually enjoy some of the slower runners going up against each other better because those races can go back and forth all over the place. A lot of the faster runners, it's if one thing goes wrong for them, they can be screwed for the whole run and not be able to catch back up, which is painful when you're in that situation. Like, I wasn't even comparing up against my PB, I was just comparing up against average times, and I was still minutes behind. Ooh, yeah, if I go to my PB, I'm like 7 minutes behind.
Alright, is there anything you all want to say before we go to closing thoughts? Any tips, tricks, any hidden slights in the game that we just don't know about yet to get under 2 hours?
I mean, for getting under 2 hours, honestly, you just have to grind the game, get used to all your encounters, and get decent luck. You don't need amazing luck, just decent luck, and you can push through it. Honestly, any run can sub 2 if you have an average-ish early mid-game. As long as you don't die to chaos, you can make it happen. But once you start dying to chaos, that's all pushed out of the way.
Anything you want to say, Preucheu?
Well, just play. No. you're getting better by playing, and the game is a lot of adaptation. So the more run you do, and the more you can adapt to what happens to you. So I guess yeah, you need obviously some luck, but yeah, I think everyone can sub to at a point. But yeah, chaos is still there, so everyone can, and not everyone can.
I completely get that. If you guys want to follow any of the runners, you know, feel free to, as they have both provided amazing amazing runs and stuff that, like, you know, I know that I couldn't do within with just my skill right now, but you know, come within a couple months, then maybe. But if, you know, luck pans out, and then if you want to follow, you know, me as well, the commentator, as I did provide commentary curse for one of you, and I'm sorry about that. There you all go in chat. But seriously, do follow these runners. They're both amazing runners, and if you all are thinking about getting into this game, it's a really easy game to pick up. I highly recommend the run. You're not really, you're not committing a lot of time to when you want to do a run. As you can see, the run can be completed within 2 hours, which is, you know, sitting down and watching a movie, basically. Other than that, anything you guys want to say for closing thoughts?
Thanks for having me, and thanks for commentating. It's always nice having somebody on the mic to keep us through the game.
Thanks to the commentators.
Thanks to SpeedGaming for hosting us, as we are on the first SpeedGaming channel. Thank you to both of you for providing this run and allowing me to commentate for you all as well. But other than that, I think we will see you guys later. If you want to, there's another race going on SpeedGaming 2 between Lukey Pookie G and Funk Nasty 171. And after that, it seems like we have a race tomorrow at 7 p.m. Tuesday, November 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of Leggy Starscream versus Lukey Pookie G as well. So if you enjoyed this run, be sure to tune in for those. But other than that, I think this is Roku, along with Shane and Preucheu, and I will definitely see you guys later.
See you later. Thanks again for commentating.